If you've got a warrant in Memphis, in this video I'll go over how those work and what you should do. If you've got an arrest warrant in the city of Memphis, you're going to have to deal with it. You probably know that you've got a warrant. There are ways to find out online. You may have heard from somebody, or if somebody's accused you, you probably know about it. I mean, if somebody's accused you of a crime, you probably would hear about it somehow or know that something's happened, and you find out that you've got a warrant, and now you have to deal with it, and you're wondering what to do. I mean, the short answer is you have to turn yourself in. Or you could wait for them to come get you sooner or later, which could happen anytime, anywhere. Best thing I tell people is to just turn yourself in and deal with it, and then go to court. You'll go to court shortly after, usually a day or so after you turn yourself in. So how does the whole turning yourself in process work? Again, here in Memphis, if you're a guy, I tell males, go to the jail downtown. That's the best place to go. That's the place to start. You could go to like a police station. If you go to a police station, then I mean they're gonna take you into custody there. But who knows? You have to get transported from the police station to the jail, and you may be sitting in that police station in a holding room for who knows how long. They're not going to do it right away. So I tell guys, just go to the jail downtown and tell them I've got a warrant, and they'll know what to do. They'll take you in, and that's just the fastest way. Okay, jail downtown. For women, it's a little different. You want to go to the women's facility at Jail East, which is part of the Penal Farm complex out off Sycamore View. You want to go there because that's where women are booked in and processed. Again, if you go to a police station as a female, same thing. You could be sitting there for who knows how long before they transport you over to Jail East. So just go straight to the women's facility at Jail East, and they'll know what to do. They'll get you processed, and then you'll have a court date, probably next business day or next day or two after that. How long will you be sitting there? How long, once you turn yourself in, are you going to be there? It depends on the charge. It depends on the allegations, what the judge who reviews the case initially is looking at in terms of police reports and probable cause warrants. It could also depend on you. If you are from out of town, out of state, they are going to treat you differently. They may treat you as more of a flight risk if you live far away. If you have a prior record, they're going to consider that. All those things can be considered in how much your bail is going to be. If it's a serious charge and you've got a bad record, you're going to have a pretty high bail. If it's a not so serious charge and you're a first timer, you're probably a good candidate for getting an ROR, release on recognizance, where you get processed in and they do their paperwork and then they release you. And you don't have to pay a bondsman or pay any kind of bond yourself to get out. They'll probably tell you that you have to report in with some folks from pretrial services. They work with the courts to monitor people who are out of custody. You may have to check in with them at each court date or on a kind of a regular basis after that. So ROR is a good way to go. It doesn't happen automatically. There is going to be some waiting around. I mean, there's no way to predict it, but I've seen cases, clients, and heard of cases where people are sitting in jail, or sitting in processing for hours after they turn themselves in, sometimes overnight. I mean, it could be, I've seen it like 24 plus hours that people are sitting there before they get released or before a bond actually gets set, and that's tough. And there's nothing I can do about that ahead of time, nothing the judge can do about that at court. Now, in a special case, I can tell you, in domestic cases, domestic assault, you frequently see warrants in domestic assault cases. Like there may have been an incident between two people in a house or an apartment, and one person leaves. And then somebody decides, maybe afterward, maybe the next day, maybe a week later, to call the police and make a complaint about it. And then all of a sudden you've got a warrant with your name on it. So you've got to deal with this warrant. I can tell you that on domestic cases, whether you've got a warrant and you turn yourself in, or you were arrested on the scene when the incident occurred, they do these 12-hour holds. Okay, they call it a 12-hour holding period or a 12-hour cooling off period, and they do them on domestic cases because emotions are running high and things like that. That's just their procedure. So on a domestic assault case, a warrant or an arrest, there's a mandatory 12-hour holding period. Now I mentioned before that there were some extreme cases where people were sitting in jail for 24 hours plus. I mean, that is possible, but it shouldn't be that long. It may be less than the 12 hours that they have for the domestic cases, but I do know typically with domestic assault cases, and those are so common, that it's a mandatory 12-hour period that you got to sit there. Like even once they're done processing you and they're ready to let you go, if it hasn't been 12 hours, they're going to make you wait the 12 hours. That's how that works. So that's kind of an overview of how these work. Again, best thing, once you've got a warrant, 2 things you should do when you find out you've got a warrant. Start making arrangements to turn yourself in and call me. I can tell you the process, and I can tell you some particular things about your charge, ways to fight it, ways to defend you, possible defenses, possible punishments, what you're looking at, worst case scenario, likely outcomes, and we can start building your defense. Give me a call.